What's going on, family? It's the Lucky Libra in the building. It's the Hood's Pastor in the building. Let me put some of them healing hands on ya. What's going on, family? I hope everybody's in fruitful, abundant, positive spirits with their loved ones around this time. All right. I know it's a spiritual community. I know how we all feel differently about holidays and these holy days. But, I hope everybody has gotten to a point in their spirituality where, regardless of the knowledge you have of the origins of these celebratory days we have in this American, I don't want to say American calendar, in this worldly calendar we under right now. Hopefully you're still able to embrace the wholesome vibrations that come with Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these holidays, regardless of what these, holidays really represent. Okay. Hopefully we're not that fixed, okay? And we could get a little bit flexible and adaptable and make sure we just embrace the times for what they are. All right, guys, so we're concluding 2023, excuse me. I'm already in 2024. We're concluding 2023. I know we went a couple of weeks, no boroscope transits, y'all. I've been trying to give y'all a heads up, let y'all know I had a new gig going on outside of in my real life, okay, and it's just been hard to balance a little bit, guys, but definitely moving into 2024, new regiment schedule and all of that, uploading schedule, stream schedule, all of that's going to be established. All right, guys, but it's full moon time, so you know how to come around and make sure I just drop a nice wholesome energy update for everybody. All right, I just got some notes. I'm gonna spin through these real quick, and there's a lot of other things I want to get into for the rest of the week. Mercury retrograde update. I wanted to do a Venus and Scorpio update, but Venus is about to make her way out of Scorpio. All right, so we're gonna talk about that a bit in the next live stream. We gotta get ready for Venus in Sag now. All right, we all up in Capricorn energies. Happy birthday, all my Capricorns. So this full moon breakdown will incorporate some Sun and Capricorn influences. I basically generalized the full moon in Cancer with the Sun in Capricorn, because we know the opposites. The full moon is always going to hit the Sun in whatever sign it's in, right? So I didn't get a chance to do Sun in Capricorn influences, so I'm gonna make sure I throw that up in there. And other than that, family, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Full moon in Cancer peaking today at 7:32 p.m. family. All right, now guys, we started 2023 with a full moon in Cancer. That was the first significant moon transit. All right, I believe it. That was on January 6th. Okay, so we had that full moon in Cancer coming in. So shit, making sure that we understand everything surrounding Cancer energy in our Cancer house. Leaving 2023 is very significant because, it set the tone early in the year. All right. We know we come into the year with Capricorn energies. We leave with Capricorn energies. So every start and conclusion to every year is always going to be things dealing with reality. But dealing with reality, we also have to understand how reality takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Look at the 10th and the 4th house. We got Cancer in the 4th house. We got Capricorn in the 10th house. How many examples do we need to point out in life with the different ways the 10th and the 4th house take a toll on each other? We could flip it however you want to flip it. There's times where in the 4th house and we have 10th house aspirations and people in our 4th house don't align with those things, and we have to navigate that natural resistance, right? You want to be a lawyer, your parents want you to be a doctor. Okay, you want to be a rapper, your parents want you to be this. All right, listen, we all have different shades of those circumstances by default, because the 4th house is opposite to the 10th. And when you get into the 10th house, how many of us are putting blood, sweat, and tears, or just a lot of significant time into our 10th house, and then it gets to a point we feel like we're barely in our 4th house. We feel like we're barely getting a chance, to be centered, reflect, isolate, decompress in our home environment. All right, deal with some resting energy. I've been doing a whole lot of resting lately too, y'all. That's another reason I've been off the scene. Our brother has been having to rest. All right, pastor been having to rest. But with all that being said, we're always gonna have those natural relationships between the houses, right? Whether they're neighbor houses, sextile houses, trine houses, opposite houses, square houses. And that's what's going on with the fourth and the tenth, and with the fourth and the 10th house, and with Capricorn and the Cancer house. And that's what we're really trying to understand around this time. As we get fully engaged into Capricorn energy, we have to have this work home balance understood. All right, so we can stay balanced throughout the season. All right, guys, so full moon peaking, full moon in Cancer peaking today at 7:32 p.m. We know the moon loves Cancer. The moon is home in Cancer. So when the moon gets into Cancer, it treats everything that is a burden, everything that is impacting your mental and emotional well-being, it treats this with the utmost extreme, sense of priority. All right, the moon doesn't play when it's in Cancer. Depending on our energies, a lot of us may be passive about certain things that weigh on us mentally, emotionally. Some of us we all have different ways in responding and taking action with things that are overwhelming us or just affecting us emotionally. When the moon gets into Cancer, there ain't no passive energy. There ain't no hesitant energy to take action. This is cardinal water. So you're creating and initiating, okay? Then it's water. It's based off the emotions. And then it's ruled by the moon, which we know is intense, dealing with its responsive energy, all right? So we are extremely, a full moon in Cancer. We already know a full moon in general holds a lot of weight, and it also carries the potential for the solar system to be bugging out and everybody just extremely reacting and responding based off their emotional temperament, whether it's something that your spirit needs to get off its heart, off your chest in some type of shape or form, or we, have these outbursts that create some lasting circumstances. But at the end of the day, all these forms of impulsive reactions or expression around a full moon time is usually coming from a burden, something that's been held inside, so that's why it just becomes extreme, because the full moon can't hold anything, can only hold but so much emotion, resentment, guilt, jealousy, pride, whatever emotion you hold in heavy, it comes out around the full moon. And this is also why when it comes into your partners and people that y'all surround yourself with around full moon times, you need to be very receptive and attentive towards their expression, because now you'll be have the awareness to understand this is something my partner, this is something my associate, this is something my child has been holding in for a while, and it's full moon time, and they feel like fuck it, I don't care whatever consequences come with expressing this to my mother or my father, to my partner, to my friend, to my business associate. I can't hold this in anymore. And if it comes with the result of us not being in a partnership no more, having some type of friction in our relationship, then so be it. This is the type of vibration we're in around a full moon. But with the moon in Cancer, it's that much more potent when it comes into us being more impulsive, making decisions, responding to things that weigh heavy on our emotions, whether in a positive way or a negative way. All right, family? So we got that going on. Once again, for the 5th time, the full moon will be peaking. I'll be interrupting myself. God damn, air stellium. I can't even get through my own. Stop interrupting yourself, Pastor Boro. Damn. All right, can't even get through my own ish, y'all. This is not even a live stream. Y'all know I'll be having the long-winded live streams. All right, I can't even do the recorded, John, straight through. Sheesh, that's what happens when you got all the air, all this air, family. It's hard to contain, okay? So peaking at 7:32 p.m., let's get into some aspects, all right? So we know the moon in Cancer. Well, first of all, it's going to be peaking at 4 degrees, all right? It's going to be peaking at 4 degrees, all right, guys? Very early degree, so we get that nice establishment of the home environment and where we our mental and emotional well-being as we continue to pursue things dealing with our Capricorn house, or whatever house you have Capricorn in, whatever we may be building, structuring in that house, because there's always something that's being built in that house. Okay, so it helps us to get more emotionally, mentally, spiritually centered as we go ahead and get engaged with what we will be constructing in our reality throughout the rest of the season. All right. So moon in Cancer opposes the sun in Capricorn, deciphering attachments and responsibilities. Cancer deals with connection. All right. Connection can lead to attachments on a negative end. All right. So it's very important to understand right now what attachments we have, okay, in our life to people, places, and things that is deterring us from our responsibilities that, we need to pay attention to in our Capricorn house. All right, very important. So Cancer, Capricorn, connection, home, emotional well-being. Capricorn, accolades, accomplishments, career path, reputation, your establishment, your stance in the outside world, what represents you in the outside world. All right, we need to find the balance between these two things and help ourselves, right? Help ourselves to be more clear about our 10th house aspirations, about our Capricorn-like aspirations by becoming more settled in the home. It is so hard. All right. And a lot of you guys could attest to this. It is, how difficult is it trying to manifest things out in the world when the home is upside down, family? How hard is it? And when I say the home, I ain't just talking about the physical environment, the home within you, right? Your emotional, mental well-being. All right. So if that ain't straight, okay, then we ain't going to be straight building out there. We're going to be laying bricks all lopsided. We're going to be clocking into work late. All right, y'all, we ain't going to be able to operate efficiently up there. So we got to make sure we good at home. We good inside. And that's what the full moon in Cancer is here to do, gang. All right. So we got that going on. Then we got the moon sextile Jupiter in Taurus. All right, I love this energy. I love this energy. Jupiter throwing his optimistic waves at the moon. So now we have a sense of optimism when reacting to certain situations. Yeah, we may react to certain things impulsively, extremely around this time, but it's going to have a touch of optimism on it. So we can at least go about it, reacting in an extreme way, hoping for the positive outcomes. We're not just doing it to cause chaos or cause ruckus in some type of shape or form. So that influence of Jupiter will be around, okay? But moon sextile Jupiter in Taurus, responding to what gives us security and stability. Okay, and because of this is a sextile, we'll be able to do that in a graceful manner. Downloads on how our values correlate to our emotional, mental well-being. All right, very important. Okay, a lot of us are understanding right now, I feel this way, or I'm in this frequency vibration. I'm in this depressed bag. I'm in this unmotivated bag. I'm in this whatever bag because of the people, places, and things I've been valuing. All right, or you'll start to understand why you're in this bag based off your values. Very important. Bringing security to the home and connections with loved ones. So this energy encourages us to do what we can to stabilize connections with the people we value, with circumstances that we value. And in general, when it comes into our loved ones, we have to do what we have to do right now to show our partners and our loved ones in general that we honor them, right? Let's put the pride, ego to the side, and let's get straight to the meats and potatoes of what we do value so we can just protect that, guys. All right. Now, we got the moon trine Saturn in Pisces. Y'all know Saturn be finding its way to get up in these new full moon transits. It's always going to be a Saturn aspect somewhere. All right. Now, Saturn's chilling up in Pisces. You already know what's going on with that energy. Us being influenced to take our time and initiate restrictions in our life, boundaries in our life to help protect our dreams, to help protect things dealing with our imagination, to advance things dealing with our imagination and our healing in general. All right. So around this time, the moon is going to be trining Saturn. We know trines are the most powerful aspects besides the conjunction. Okay. But this is going to help us to respond to what we need to regulate for our dreams. Saturn is the regulator. All right. We got this Pisces energy and we got the moon responding. All this energy is in water. So when we talk about, once again, attachments, things that we're connected to, we have to understand how these things affect when it comes to attachments, things that we overindulge into, things that we're lost in. We have to understand how these things affect our pursuit for our dreams in general. We all have dreams and aspirations and things we want to create and manifest. But, when it comes into, once again, us being able to place boundaries in specific areas in our life, this is a time where we realize, like, damn, I was supposed to been place a boundary over there. I was supposed to been place restriction over there. If I would have done those things, it would have helped me to be a little bit more, channeled into a dream aspiration, something I'm trying to bring out my subconscious. So that's what the moon trine Saturn and Pisces helps us to do with a huge sense of clarity. Remember, it's a trine. So we're going to be picking up these things intuitively. The sun helps you to see, the moon helps you to feel. So since the moon is trining Saturn around this week, we will be feeling whether it's a self-imposed habit, whether it's a person, place, or thing that we're connecting to, we will feel how this, whatever it is, all right, is adding some sense of resistance towards something that we're trying to give life, something that is not born yet, something that's still in our dreams, still in the astral realm, still in our subconscious, and we're trying to feed that. Whatever is a resistance to that, is multiple alignments that's going to be highlighting the things that are playing out as resistance, all right, towards the things that we're trying to create, guys. So that's full moon energy in general, for real. It really don't be mattering what sign the full moon is in. If we in full moon time, that means the sun is getting refreshed, all right, wherever it's at. So if the sun is getting refreshed where it's at, because the moon is on top of his ass from somebody else, like, son, what your ass doing over there? You better not be talking to them, to Miss Johnson and them over there. The moon don't be playing. The moon all the way in the opposite sign, but still see the sun ass over there on his bullshit. All right, so the moon be trying to call the sun out from an opposite space so the sun can tighten up with its journey in its sign, aka the sun in Capricorn. All right, so it doesn't matter. But even though I just said moon in Capricorn, sun in Capricorn, it doesn't matter where the sun is at. The moon will be given that opposite resistance, so the sun can understand its its adversary, right? It can be more clear about its journey, where it's at, right? It can have more of a sense of being able to prevent certain things, because the moon almost gave it a signal, gave it some type of influence from the sign it's in, with that opposition connection. Even though it's opposition, even though it's friction, it's still a connection. All right, so that's full moon time in general, guys. We got to weed out all the blockages. All right, so moon and Saturn, moon trine Saturn and Pisces, responding to what we need to regulate for our dreams, responding to self-imposed obstacles or restrictions that hold us back from exploring our imagination and aspirations. All right, new downloads to give our dreams some foundation in a sense of a blueprint. So a lot of us will be manifesting these type of influences throughout Capricorn season in general. It's going to be a lot of things in our life that are just ideas around this time. They may be just up in the air. And this is going to be a time where we're going to be able to, see how to give these things more of a mapping, more of a foundation, more of a direction, by actually being able to plan out steps with everything that we're doing around this time. All right, guys. So that's very important. Guys, I always tell you, opportunities manifest in our life through many different ways. Sometimes opportunity could be you downloading something, you catching a certain idea that's going to help you progress things, you being open to external influences around you in some type of shape or form to help guide you and direct you with things that we want to do. All right, this is why I always tell you, when you're on a path of creating or manifesting something in general, you always want to make sure you remain as open as possible, so as you're navigating this path, God could continue to direct you, tell you to make a left, make a right, because God be happy you got on path in general, but there's gonna be a couple of times you're gonna have to listen, to God's GPS, all right, and not your own GPS. All right, guys, so let's make sure we keep those things in mind. Let me just get back to my notes. All right, back to my notes real quick. My phone just died, but it's back on. You see how God works? You see how God works? All right, guys. All right. So is that all the aspects? Moon trine Saturn. Okay. And moon slightly opposing Mercury is a 9-degree opposition. I like to keep things around 7 degrees. I feel like once things get outside of 7, it's not as tight, not as much as an influence. So the moon is slightly opposing Mercury. We can be a bit aggressive, imposing our philosophy on others or carrying a God complex mentality in our connections. There may be potential for word vomit trying to communicate or express your true thoughts and emotions around this time. So we want to do everything in the most understanding and delicate, patient way as possible. That's a tall task and a huge ask for everybody around full moon time, but that's what we got to do, right? We already know Mercury been in Sagittarius, so everything dealing with communication hasn't been the most accurate, all right? And Mars is right by Mercury, And with the moon slightly opposing it, our intuition is going to be very strong as to what we may be picking up from others and what we may need to push out. It just may be a little bit of difficulty finding the words to articulate certain things, and how we even go about delivering things in general, guys. So, it's not easy holding in full moon Cancer extreme emotion on top of there being some intensity around the tool we use to communicate, guys. So please keep that in mind, to try to give other people grace as much as you can around this time. All right, family. All right. And those are the general aspects going on with the full moon. So let's get into these notes I got for everybody. And we're going to start at the top with my Aries. All right. Matter of fact, let me just do something to make timestamps. I'm gonna write the time down every sign. All right, we at 20 minutes. Aries sun, Aries risings. All right, this is a square. This is a square. Well, first of all, shout out to all the cardinal signs. All right, cardinal signs are on the hot seat. Libras, Aries, Cancers, get your ass on the hot seat. Mutable signs was just on the hot seat. Now it's y'all time. All right, so shout out to all my Pisces, Virgos, and Gems. All right, I was on the hot seat. Now we got to move it to the cardinal signs. All right, so Aries sun, Aries rises. This is a square, all right? You got the full moon squaring you. You got sun in Capricorn squaring you, so you can feel a little bit of intensity, a little bit of friction around this time. But we got the moon, the full moon transiting the 4th house, and we got the sun transiting the 10th house, all right, guys? So clearing burdens in your private space. That's very important in general. Moon in the 4th house. Moon don't play in the 4th house. We already said moon don't play in Cancer. So it definitely ain't playing about your 4th house. But you are Aries rising. How beautiful is that? That you're going to be extremely sensitive to every single transit because you got the signs in the houses already. All right. So when it gets into the full moon in the 4th house, this is a deep cleanse on any person, place, or thing that's a burden to any of my Aries, my beloved Aries natives out there when it comes to your mental and emotional well-being. There may be some habits you've brought into your home, made comfortable, that you're going to have to identify around this time and understand this ain't complimentary for my personal development. All right, so clearing burdens in your private space. Aries, what responsibility are you upholding in the home environment or amongst loved ones that's bringing friction to your 10th house aspirations? These things may need to be communicated. All right, you may have to relate some of these things. Aries, I love y'all, but sometimes you hold in a little bit too much until you feel like you gotta communicate something from from an extreme space at times. So try your best around this time just to catch little pockets to communicate how you feel about things if you're dealing with any burdens around people that you consider loved ones. All right. Especially because, once again, moon in the 4th, sun in the 10th. Now we're getting into that opposition energy, that resistance energy when it comes into aspirations you may want to take out into the world, and how people close to you, how your environment, your close home environment, receives or, accepts these things. It comes a time where you have to make a decision regardless of what the people close to you think about things you should be doing with your life. All right. So try not to put any extreme energy on anybody else, but make as much of a wise decision to do the things you want to do for your own personal life path. All right. New realizations on how your loved ones perceive your 10th house goals. All right. You may realize you thought you was getting some support in the 10th house. You really ain't getting the support you thought you was getting. And you just may have to readjust how you look at things. It ain't your people's fault that they have the perception of your personal goals, ambitions, intentions, and passions. It ain't their fault they don't see that shit. And you're Aries. You don't really care who see that shit or not. But when it be your loved ones, that it hits just a little bit, Aries sunrise. So try not to let that discourage you too much around this time. If you do make realizations that, people close to you don't see your personal goals the way you perceive them. All right. Now, and regulating friction with loved ones in general. All right, that's you need to take the initiative to regulate any friction with loved ones if the opportunities and pockets to do so occur. Try not to let pride and ego get in the way. It's a full moon in Cancer. You gotta take advantage of trying to bring some healing into the home in some type of shape or form. All right, I know you got Cancer in the home, Aries sun risings, and see, people don't be understanding with your chart. They think, yes, you are blessed with the natural instincts of how to react and take action and what to create in every house. But you also you experience the extreme of the positive and negative charge of every house. So with Cancer in the fourth house, yes, Aries Sun's risings can definitely have a sense of connection that they may be able to develop with somebody in the household. However, it's Cancer energy. Who's to say that there even is anybody in the Aries Sun rising household that is emotionally stable? So a lot of Aries Sun risers grow up with either parents, family members, or an environment dealing with negative projection. All right. And, Aries Sun rising has to learn how to navigate this. So around this time, it may be some understanding about things that you may have developed, or anything you may have developed, whether it's projected on you, you just influenced by it in the home environment, and you can kind of get to the meats and potatoes, get to the root of certain things dealing with your behavior based off the fourth house whenever you have like a full new moon transit in the fourth house. All right. And if it's a situation with loved ones, make sure you're attentive towards it. All right. So all of these things are very important, Aries Sun rising. And I already know how you are when there's friction in a partnership. A lot of the times it takes a lot of pride for you to either be the bigger person or either express how you truly feel. So try your best around this time, Aries. You don't need to keep all that resentment in your heart. At least come to a common understanding with these individuals in your life. All right. And Mars. And remember, the sun is in your 10th house right now, Aries Sunrise. The sun is in your 10th house. So there's going to be a lot of new things you're noticing this season about how people perceive you in the world, about different actions you can take to navigate your career path in different ways. So don't let none of these things go over your head, and be careful on how your loved ones and people close to you are influencing your judgment on things. The reason I feel like I don't need to harp too much on that, because I know you guys are true individuals and you're going to make your own decision at the end of the day, regardless of what people think. But, all you guys are working with different energies besides your Aries Sun and rising. So I just want to make sure you guys don't get too discouraged about energy that may possibly be projected on you, and it's almost deterring you from doing something that you're called to do in the 10th house around this time, or you've been called to do in your 10th house. All right. So we got that going on. Now, the ruler Mars is currently conjunct Mercury and squaring Neptune, moving out of that Sagittarius space, right? So your mind may be overly critical of self around these times, especially when it comes to the outcome of any passion or goal you may be pursuing. You're being initiated right now, Aries Sun risings, to keep faith and be open towards working on things in a new or different way. Mars is getting ready to get into his exaltation space in Aries. All right. So allow yourself to accept and receive constructive criticism around this time. Allow yourself to keep faith in everything you're working towards. I know you sometimes, Aries, I don't know if this is the word, you could be very vigorous with the way you go about things. I think vigorous means just being like, real aggressive and just utilizing your durability to move through things. I think that's what it means. I'm gonna check later. I ain't got time right now. But yeah, there's a lot of times Aries Sun risings, because of that Mars durability, you guys can just put all your faith in your actual work. And that ain't negative at all. But in times where you do need to hold on to faith because you may not see the total outcome, or you can't see the result ahead, and you're fire, you're very futuristic. So that could be a little discouraging for a fire sign to feel like they can't see what their work now is going to manifest ahead of time or in the near future. This is a time where you're going to have to trust your faith. You're going to have to keep faith in what you're working on, the energy you're putting into things around this time. All right, Aries Sun rising. That's what we got going on. Mars is getting ready to move into his exaltation space in Capricorn. So you really about to be turned up right now. There's really about to be new things developing, under development when it comes into how you navigate your career path. There's going to be new passions that may get a chance to be highlighted and be seen from you. All right, Aries Sun risings, beautiful time to be alive. Happy full moon. Taurus suns, Taurus risings. All right, 29 Minitos. Okay, that's my Spanish way of saying minutes. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say minutes in Spanish, but I like that. 29 minutos. All right, might have to change that in the Spanish language. Add that up in there. Now, Taurus sun rising. Moon in the third house, sun in the ninth house. You are one of the trine signs. So you can actually walk into some opportunities this season, dealing with gaining stability, security, things being positively affected with your finances. All right, a lot of new awarenesses to be caught when it comes into your value system. All right, and this is definitely a great time to be alive. Taurus sun, Taurus rising. I know a lot of y'all had a real transformative year as well too. So let's make sure we put nice spiritual finishing touches on 2023. All right, Taurus. Now, filtering out burdens and attachments amongst close relationships in your surroundings. Moon in the third house ain't gonna play that. There's a close friend, there's a sibling, there's an influence in your close environment, your immediate environment, and it's taking you away from things you need to be exploring and expanding. Yeah, those things finna be highlighted around this time, Taurus, if they already haven't been highlighted. All right. So filtering out burdens and attachments amongst close relationships in your surroundings. Funny thing, I put that word burden in there. Taurus know about some goddamn burdens with all the people that be leaning on you and all the things you be upholding and try to keep all the things you be trying to uphold and keep in a stable manner a lot of the time. So Taurus, you need to pay attention to that. All right, it's a full moon, so hopefully we could rid any of those burdens. What habits in your surroundings or those that are influenced from your immediate social circle that deter you from exploring ninth house aspirations, aka new spiritual journey, things revolving around education, higher learning, exploration in general? Is very significant question to ask yourself, and you may have to ask yourself this repetitively throughout Capricorn season, Taurus. All right, so many opportunities coming your way. All right, with things you're naturally invested in, right? Building things up, gaining structure, adding structure to things. It's very important to continuously point out throughout this season as the full moon establishes, its illumination here, what things in your third house or have been developed in your third house, or the mentalities, minds, thoughts of people in your immediate social circle that take you away from things you want to explore in your ninth house. All right, you're in a space where you're being pushed to look beyond what's close to you, people, places, and things. All right, hopefully my Taurus suns and rises get a chance to look at their environment from a more expanded perspective. Okay, you're usually aware of what's a burden on you gaining security, right? But you do uphold and support by nature. This is a time to remove what's not deserving of your support. Okay, very, very clear cut and simple about that one, Taurus sun rising. See, and because you uphold things being fixed earth, ruled by Venus, and you a giver, and you got that moon energy and all of that good stuff, this is why you manifest situations where it take you a while to realize, like, damn, this person ain't deserving of this support. You feel me? This person ain't deserving of my resources, my time. All right, earth sign give you time. They really, they fucking with you hard. All right, so this may be a time you may have to snap out of it a little bit, Taurus, or just regulate your resources and time in general, okay? May receive some constructive criticism from your third house space, all right? Be able to receive that if it comes your way. Your ruler has been transiting Scorpio, all right? Venus has been in Scorpio. We know it's about to make its way out. Things you love or may have a habit to overindulge in may have created extreme circumstances to influence you to transform. All right. So it may, right now, Taurus, it may be a person, place, or thing, a person you may be connecting to, and they're an example of, they may be enabling something, a habit that you need to overcome. And that's why that led into some type of extreme situation transformation in some type of shape or form, or simply whoever you're dealing with is positively encouraging things with positive values in your life. All right. But overall, positive and negative habits have been highlighted with Venus and Scorpio, because we know Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. We know Scorpio dealing with our deep desires and everything we need to transform and transmute. So any negative energy attached to your love matters and your value system, these things were kind of exposed, highlighted, and it's up to you, Taurus, to take the initiative, to change or transform these things if these things haven't already transformed you in some type of shape or form around this time, or manifested any type of intense, extreme situation with love matters or anything around this time. All right. Hopefully you're more aware of the depth and any negative values and attachments, right? You guys most likely had true thoughts and emotions revealed to you by your significant other. Give them room to express themselves, because it may have been a hidden energy they've been carrying. All right. Very important around this time. So I already said full moon time is a time where we release a lot of things that we may have kept buried within us, especially within our relationships and all different type of departments of our life. But with that Venus and Scorpio energy, it's very common to have a loved one, somebody you're dealing with in an intimate level, express some hidden feelings and thoughts. And Taurus, you got to be able to take that for what it is, okay? And use that to help adjust to the new reality of your partnership. All right, so that's what we got going on for my Tauruses. Now my Geminis, my big gems in the building. All right, the big ones, not the little ones. Moon in the second house, sun in the eighth house. This is my in conjunction space right here, the almost opposite side. All right, so Gemini, look, man. All right, you're being pushed to honor your true core values and detach yourself from values that have been picked up by your social circle, Gemini. All right, you know how many times the Gemini in their life got to realize this is not the shit I really give a fuck about. I just been participating in some shit people around me participating in. Or I was just adapted to some thoughts or mentalities with the people in my environment in some type of shape or form. All right, we don't call you the most flexible and adaptable amongst people in the area. You're not mutable for no reason. That means you can find yourself overly extending your ways of thinking to other people to the point you start adapting the way they think, and it take you a while to realize that. So since we got a full moon in the second house when it comes to your core values, Gemini, it's a time you can get back to that, and you can kind of shed and filter out some mentalities and ideologies that's been thrown on you that's not your natural, values in some type of shape or form. All right. Has there been anything your loved ones have been expressing to you about something you're overly attached to, or they're concerned about with you, Gemini, sun rising? Because if anybody close to you has been, you need to be listening to them. All right, you need to be listening to them. Second house deals with traditions. It has a close space, has a close connection towards, value relationships, family traditions, family relationships. So these are the people you kind of want to trust their judgment around this time. All right. It's going to be clear to see how attachments and your desires overall possibly have control over you. This is a time where you can establish a new foundation of healthy values in general, Gemini. All right, you can really strip yourself of a lot of things you feel like don't help you to feel stable around this time, especially if it's people, Gemini. Especially if it's people, Gemini. All right, now, okay, finances. All right, we got a lot of the second, eighth house lit up. Those are the money houses. Second house dealing with monetary gains. Eighth house dealing with other people, money, resources coming from the external realm. All right, so there's a lot going on with your finances right now, Gemini, sun, rises. And finances are very significant this season. Make sure this full moon transit is used to regulate anything that's depleting your finances, your resources, and any second house traits that aren't being utilized. So when I say that, what's a second house trait? Something that you feel like you can show others, offer to the world, express to the world, a talent, something you're good at, something you can sell, something you can use to help others with, service other people with. So this is going to be a time in your life where you'll be realizing, do I have second house traits that I be neglecting that can ultimately be used to transform my life? Sun in the eighth house, right? Can use to support a true motive or passion I have. Maybe I have a resource already, and this deep passion or motive I could have been using this resource to support that. Man, I didn't even realize it. Well, full moon in the second house. You can realize it around this time. All right. Now, Gemini sun rises. First of all, and remember, that sun is in that eighth house right now. That sun is in that eighth house right now, Gemini sun rising. So it's very likely that something that you're building or structuring can go through its transformations around this time. You have to be open towards reinventing or embracing changes that with something you're building or structuring, and also learning how to place restrict. Like you got Capricorn in the eighth, so it's gonna be certain things around this season, Gemini Sun rising, when it comes into your desires that you're gonna have to learn to restrict, and there will be temptations. There will be you know, a sun in the eighth house transit will always shine awareness on your desires. So in some type of shape or form, it kind of provides more access to you connecting towards them, but it also finds ways to highlight how your desires can get the best of you. So you'll catch influences and you'll start to look into the future to see how things that have control of you can create certain results in a long-term sense. So hopefully that awareness can help you tighten up. Hopefully y'all don't get too deep into having to make these realizations with things that have control over you, and you can start gradually, creating a new blueprint to stabilize yourself and feel more centered from any form of a temptation, any form of desire that has control over you. All right, Gemini, and you a Gemini, you're an air sign. So people gonna be the ones bringing a lot of temptations to you, making them sound good, right? Trying to articulate it nice, make it sound good. Everybody's trying to you the one that know how to talk. So you attracted too. You be attracted some savvy communicators and all that too. So be careful, Gemini. Be careful around this time. All right. Now your ruler has made his way back into Sagittarius because we know Mercury is retrograde. So it dibbled and dabbled in Capricorn for a little bit and then bopped back out into Sagittarius. All right. So you've been dealing with having to explore new ideologies and concepts about relationships in general while Mercury's in Sagittarius. That's it. Whenever your ruler transits Sagittarius, is going to be some things you have to evolve from, some new concepts and morals going to be under development. All right. You're a relationship sign. So there's definitely been some things about relationships that you had to look from more expanded perspective, maybe some experiences that you had to reflect upon while Mercury has been in Sagittarius, in order to help you understand how you could tighten up your character and your morality in some type of shape or form, dealing with others, and how to prevent yourself from participating with other people who don't align with your ways of conducting relationships in a healthy way. You most likely started looking at things you feel like you need to outgrow in your personal life, and this includes habits, mentalities, and people. Any form of spirituality, this is important. Any form of spirituality or education that has caught your attention and became intriguing around this time is most likely very significant for your personal and spiritual development, especially in this moment, in this chapter of your life. So if you find yourself intensely studying something about yourself, a certain divination tool, a certain form of spirituality, a different form of astrology, whatever it is, there was a certain reason that form of knowledge came knocking on your door, and you want to honor that because it's most likely very significant towards the things that you may need to incorporate into your personal spiritual journey around this time. All right, Gens. All right. Now my Cancers. Shout out to them Cancers, all right, who got the moon energy every day. Not just on a full moon, not just on a new moon, every day. All right. So Cancer, we got the moon in the first and that sun in the seventh. Got the sun in that good old seventh house. So we know it's gonna be some relationship work. And work. And I put that word there specifically because what Cancer got in the seventh? Capricorn. All right, so there's always some motherfucking relationship work. There's always something there's always somebody trying to tell Cancer. There's always somebody trying to restrict Cancer's, restricts Cancer's emotions and expression in their partnerships and their relationships. Cancers, I feel for you. I already know what it is, man. I'm a Cap Moon rising, so I done been the one trying to tell y'all ass calm down and shit. So I'm one of them ones. All right, but look, Cancer, this is what we got going on. This is a deep personal life cleanse right now, all right? You got the moon coming home to your sign, but it's in the first house. So we already know, there's a high level of sensitivity that you carry, but shit, around full moon time is way more intense. You know how you feel. I think I wrote that in the shit too in my notes. Like, how you be feeling around this time, right? You're impulsive with your expression, right? If a Cancer sun rising really wants somebody, crushing on somebody, best believe around full moon time, they'll do some extra shit to send a signal. Or just come out and say the shit, you feel me, on some extreme shit. Okay, so whenever you see Cancers on some extreme shit, just check the moon out. Check where the moon is at real quick. But With all that being said, this is a deep personal life cleanse. Any person, place, or thing in the first house that's a burden should be dealt with around these times. All right. I know I said should, but knowing y'all are going to deal with it. Okay. Anything that you're connecting to any person that you're connecting to in the seventh house or partnerships you're participating in will be highlighted to see if the efforts are being reciprocated. Cancer, remain aware. Remain aware. All right. It's Capricorn season. So we ain't really all into, how we feel about things. We have to get shelter. You feel me? We have to make sure winter don't get our ass, regardless of how we feel. I'm depressed. I don't feel like going to get things to get shelter today. Oh, I'm in my emotions. I'm feeling moody about this. I don't feel like building that. Hey, all right, Cancer. See how much that mentality works during Capricorn season when it starts snowing in this bitch. All right, aka Cancer. There's gonna be a lot of situations during this season that you're gonna have to come from a realistic point of view, remove your emotions a little bit, and see what type of foundation is healthy for you. Your emotions, this is hypothetically speaking, your emotions may want to participate in a toxic relationship, but that foundation is not stable for your life. So these are the type of decisions we got to make around this time, Cancer. You're the opposite sign. All right, so you got that full moon energy rocking with you and everything right now, but we are in your opposite season. Okay, so we have to make sure we understand the reality of your partnerships, Cancer. Bottom line, okay? And this will be a time, since the full moon is transiting your first house, this week will be a specific week for you to see the percentage levels of how much you're engaged into a partnership, and once again, how much this person is reciprocating it. This is the week you'll find out, damn, it's 80-20, and I'm the 80. Or this 50-50. Or this 60-40 and I'm the 40. I gotta step my shit up. I gotta let this person know I'm in it to win it with them. All right. I don't want them feeling like I'm the one that ain't on expressing my love, expressing how I really feel. I was just giving Cancer props not too long ago, talking about how y'all make it known where y'all stand in y'all relationships. All right. Y'all make it known. It's Cancer, it's cardinal water. So in some type of shape or form, the emotions, what's inside, will be worn on the physical. Within the expression in some type of shape or form, within the appearance. Okay, so I need my Cancers to understand all of that good stuff. Okay, pay attention to any downloads. Pay attention to any downloads that highlight what you have in the first house that can be connected to others or built upon with others in the seventh house. So around this season, maybe somebody in your seventh house, or it just may be a situation you manifest where something you have personally, whether it's a form of expression, whether it's a talent, whether it's something, one of your personal interests, something you personally participate in, you involved with from a natural perspective, something you just naturally personally into. This may be a season where it may be an intrigue that's caught to something of that you're into personally, and an opportunity to connect it into the seventh house, connect it to others, build upon that interest, that hobby, that talent, that creative attribute amongst others. Capricorn in the seventh house. So a lot of networking spaces come out your relationship life, come when you in the social space in general, Cancer. As introverted as y'all may want to be at times, is as much networking opportunities y'all be having when y'all step outside. All right, but those opportunities will be knocking around this season, so I just want to make sure y'all don't miss those. Okay, now, oh man, don't get too sentimental on me with this next one right here. But I wrote down, who's nurturing the Cancer? My mic not even on right now. Who's nurturing the Cancer? All right. If it's hard to answer that, Cancer, if it's hard to answer that question, then the next question is the Cancer making sure they nurturing self? All right. Why do I ask these questions? Because the sun is in the seventh house. So Cancer, subconsciously, you may be more paying attention to things outside of yourself, but it's only so much you can do to uplift, sustain, stabilize relationships when you ain't in the right heart space. You know how you do, Cancer. When you're not in the right heart space, that it's hard to not project that energy in your relationships. This is something y'all partners get used to with y'all. They see y'all in y'all moods, this, that, and the third. They start understanding how to let y'all be in y'all moods, knowing that it might be just temporary. Like, yeah, that mood just gonna last 15 minutes or a day. But other than that, my shorty in her bag right now. ask her if she wants some food. I said, baby, you good? You want some food? No, all right, whatever. I just asked her if she's straight. The Cancer gonna come back to me, cardinal water, Sun in Cancer gonna express that she good when she good. All right? Shit. But don't nobody, everybody don't got that level of awareness when they dealing with their Cancer partner. So right now, Cancer, you have to make sure that you taking the responsibility to nurture yourself to make sure you're good, you're whole personally, so you can be whole in your relationships around this time. Or there's going to be a continuous lack of unfulfillment in your participation in relationships because you may feel like your partner needs to fulfill something in you that you need to fulfill for yourself, Cancer. You know I love y'all, but hopefully that one ain't staying right there. Hopefully that one ain't staying. Okay? But shout outs to my Cancers. I wrote down, is the Cancer making sure they nurture themselves? Because that's what the moon transit in the first house will remind you. All right. So pay attention to those reminders this week. All right. Now, your ruler is full. You know how you can feel, you can feel the need for heavy releases around this time. But since it's the first house, the pent up energy will be personal burdens and first house aspirations that haven't been given any life. That's probably going to be the most discouraging, frustrating thing to realize around this time, that you have a personal aspiration, something you've been wanting to pour into, connect, give some life to. You know you the womb. You know you the incubator, Cancer. All right. You know you the one honing in the life before it comes out. So don't allow yourself to be too overwhelmed and discouraged if you feel like there's something in your first house you haven't fed yet. You just got to come to grips with that. And throughout the Sun in Capricorn transit in your 7th house, you may start to get some pointers and guidance and start to understand from the external realm how you can work on some of these things personally. All right. You just have to have attention and keep some energy on the thing that you want to build in the first house, and you'll watch how things mold in your 7th house. All right. As above, so below, from within, so without. All right. That's not even a phrase. Y'all know what I meant. All right. Anyways, that's the Cancers right there. That's the Cancer. Let me put some of them healing hands on you. Put some of them healing hands on you. All right. And I also wrote here, we have to make sense who gets the Cancer's connection. Discernment is at an all-time high. All right. All right, Cancer sunrises. Moving on up. Moving on up to the east side. You got to sing a little bit before you get into Leo. I got to throw a little of my 5th house energy out there. But shout out to my Leos. And we got that moon in the 12th and that Sun in the 6th. All right. Sun in the 6th house. Now, listen. The subconscious is extremely stimulated. All right. Whenever we got a full moon transit in the 12th house, every motherfucking insecurity, dream, aspiration, belief, everything you want to experience is all illuminated. It's all illuminated. You want to do everything. You want to do every dream. You want to live every dream. You want to invest into every creative aspiration. All right, you trying to heal every insecurity and form of trauma in you. So, it gets deep in the 12th house. But for the most part, the subconscious is extremely stimulated. You may be feeling fulfilled or unfulfilled when it comes into dreams and aspirations in general. So, Leo, be careful not feeling extra. You can't prevent how you feel. But, if you feel discouraged around not meeting certain goals or being within the certain time frames for things that you wanted to create or bring out of your 12th house, bring out of your imagination, be very careful not being too heavy on yourself. It's full moon and Cancer energy. You have to be careful what you carrying heavy on the heart. You do not want to multiply that energy in your life, right? We're trying to identify and rid negative energies, not identify, hold on them, put more fuel on them, just keep putting more energy on them, not knowing we feeding the cycle. All right. Now, this season is all about you regulating your day-to-day routine and what habits you have in your regimen that aren't complementary of your personal goals. You'll also find pockets this season to incorporate 12th house influences into your 6th house. This is the week where you realize what those things may be. So, Leo, we all have a schedule and a regimen, whether it's organized or not. But there's certain things we all do every goddamn day. And Leos, you're going to realize what things you be doing every goddamn day and what people, places, and things are included into what you do every goddamn day that is taking up space from 12th house aspirations that could be in your 6th house. So as we continue to move through Capricorn season, you're going to continue to realize these things. You're going to continue to see it's going to be so like when you're in the middle of that habit that you're doing, you're supposed to be putting in an hour into your business, your side hustle business every day. And when you come home from work and you're realizing when you come home from work, you lay down on the couch, you grab a snack and you just be scrolling and you be scrolling and you take a nap, you wake up, you start scrolling again. Around this time, while you scrolling, all that's going to be, especially this week, is going to be buzzing is 12th house aspirations. We're wasting time. We could have been building this. We could have been, exploring that. Okay. So how you manage your day-to-day routine to be able to incorporate things you want to create in there is going to be huge. All right. And whatever is a blockage and whatever doesn't hold value in your day-to-day routine, these things are extremely highlighted around this time, Leo. All right. Your wellness is of high significance right now. Meditate, isolate, center yourself. You'll start to potentially change your outlook on what or how you're working on things in the 6th house. So you being able to utilize this full moon in the 12th house to become as centered as possible as to what this Leo wants to create, heal, explore from their imagination space and in life in general. These things in general, these things in general is a direct correlation towards your wellness. All right. It's good. It's how hard is it to add something into your routine schedule when your overall wellness is not even up to par? How you're taking care of yourself, how you're treating yourself, your sleeping habits, your diets, okay, the things that trigger your anxiety, your mental health. Like all of these things is significant and very important for you to take the initiative to understand what affects these things, because it could keep your 12th house energies pretty much distorted. All right. It's so hard to bring things out of our imagination into reality if our wellness is upside down in the first place. So there's going to be a heavy significance on your wellness around this time. Leo, Sun, Leo risings. All right. So like I said, you do want to embrace any sense of isolation you feel yourself falling into around this time. And your ruler is transiting a Saturn sign. All right. Capricorn. Excuse me. Not Capricorn. Yes, Capricorn. I'm bugging the sun. Your ruler is transiting a Saturn sign. I'm thinking Saturn and Pisces. Things will not manifest overnight right now, Leo, in Cap season. And things will not manifest overnight right now, Leo, and Cap season will continuously remind you that if you don't honor time in your creation process. All right. So it's very important to understand around this time. Hold on, I just got started getting a little hot up in here. It's very important to understand, Leo, you fire, you futuristic energy. You ruled by the sun. The sun is on the go. The sun is jumping into signs every 30 days, right? So the sun is continuously creating, shedding awareness. And when it comes into the construct of time, that's when, Leos, you can start feeling a little overwhelmed, all right? Because you want to get on the go. And sometimes it could be frustrating. Excuse me, guys. Sometimes it could get frustrating having to, honor the construct of time, doing things in a steady pace, building in a steady pace. That's why that Sun and Saturn energy don't really get along. So it's important that anytime you feel a sense of, Leo, hold on, Leo, slow it up. Leo, be more patient. Okay, whenever you get those type of influences, those type of influence throughout those seasons, you got to honor that, because you can be one step away from crashing something. You could be one step away of, overwhelming yourself within your 6th house schedule and routine, trying to cram too much into it. So time is really of the essence when it comes into you, Leo, and you need to stay in your own focus bag with that. Don't let nobody rush you with nothing around this time. All right. Speaking of don't let nobody rush you, when you got the sun in the 6th house, it's going to be a lot of things that you may realize you're participating in right now, working on, possibly working on with others, and all these responsibilities in general. It may be a whole bunch of things that you realize you don't want to uphold. All right. Don't feel guilty for it. Don't feel bad about it, whatever. This is the time for you to understand that, because you got 12th house energies that are most likely being illuminated, that eventually want to find ways into real time, want to find ways, find ways into your 6th house that want to be worked on. All right. So that's what we got going on. Leo, Virgo, my beloved Virgos, we got the moon in the 11th house, sun in the 5th house. All right. We're filtering out all burdens or expired influences in your social circle in general. People can become real attached to you in these spaces. So this is a time to highlight if you want to continue upholding a project or mutual cause in a group partnership. Now, understand, Virgo, you got Cancer in the 11th house. You got Cancer in the 11th house. So a lot of the times, people could build deep connections for what you provide or bring to a group circumstance. You could find yourself, depending on what this Virgo has experienced with early relationships in their life, depending on what type of connections Virgo has made leading up into them getting into spaces, connecting with other people out in the world in different groups. Virgos can just find themselves developing a very tight knitted connection with people that, in their church, in their music group, in their business group. We got Cancer here. So this placement is connected to their moon. So, Virgos could find themselves doing a lot of healing in the 11th house, doing a lot of connecting and caring in the 11th house. But since it's a full moon, this is a time for my Virgos to realize if they want to continue upholding certain energies in the 11th house, it may be certain influences. Y'all realize people are not reciprocating that energy in your 11th house, or you're just simply taking too much of the responsibility in this group or this partnership in some type of way. All right. I started talking about Leo and the sun and star. I started getting hot. Damn. So it's important to understand that with your 11th house activity, Virgo, the sun is in your, matter of fact, let me keep reading those. I feel like I was just about to ramble off and say what's on my shit. All right. So people can become real attached to you in these spaces. So this is the time to highlight if you want to continue upholding a project or mutual cause in this group partnership. There may be things, all right, there may be things you notice about the 11th house around this time that influence you to bring 5th house influences to the world, aka talents, services, awareness, education, form of management. What can my Virgo natives place on the stage? Whatever that may be, whether it's a form of creativity or whatnot, your 11th house will be trying to signal that to you. So maybe somebody you don't know from a hole in the wall, maybe an associate, a business associate. It may be somebody you go to that's in your church, all right? Somebody that's in some type of community you participate with, a friend, all right? And if they're highlighting something on how you can take a 5th house trait and connect into the 11th house, like, yeah, there's a talent show over here. You should go audition, or this, and the third, this, blah, blah, blah. Like, these are things God placed this person in your life to let you know that, because your 5th house is active, and your 5th house is active. So you being on a stage and demonstrating certain things, even with your expression in general, I think I wrote that down too, like your expression in general from a mild to a major perspective will be highlighted around this time. Whether you got to learn to express yourself a little bit more amongst people in your personal life, people in the workplace or whatnot, or allow yourself to explore and experiment with the opportunity of being seen for your 5th house attributes out in the world in some type of shape or form. All right, Virgo. Now, you're in your creator bag right now, so you need to let your imagination juices flow and explore with them as much as you can. Anything calling you to deal with expression energies is very significant, whether it's on the stage or like within your personal life, like I mentioned. Now, Mercury has made its way back into Sagittarius in its retrograde motion, all right? I'm sure this season has influenced a lot of paths that are waiting to be explored by you. Sagittarius doesn't know what a boundary or restriction is, Virgo, all right? I believe Mercury has been trying to teach you if there's a will, there's a way. As a fellow Earth Moon, I know how we can stunt our progress when we feel like we don't have the resources we need. This season was teaching you to look beyond what may be an obstacle in your life and have faith in your works, Virgo. Okay. Mercury will be back in Capricorn soon. That creates a trine to you. So it was about once Mercury gets back in Capricorn, there's going to be a ton of new information, guidance, conversation is going to be developed towards the things you want to build. Let's be intentional about what you're building as we move into that space. All right. Libras, Libra Divas, the divas. All right. Sorry, you guys are not divas. It just rhymed. Actually, sometimes we can be divas. But anyways, let's not get too deep into that. Libras, moon in the 10th house, sun in the 4th house, cardinal sign. Cardinal sign, you was on the hot seat, Libra. All right. So first of all, first question. This one starts with a question. Libra, how has your 10th house aspirations took a toll or affected your emotional and mental well-being? All right. This is funny as hell for me because I opened this live telling y'all I've been working a lot these past couple weeks. We haven't been able to get the horoscopes in. I've been adjusting to a lot of things, new work schedule, and it's affecting my astro work schedule. So it's very important for us Libras to understand how the things we're striving for in the 10th house, okay, we have to be able to react and reflect on those things. The moon is there. The moon don't really like being in the 10th house because it has to bring an understanding to things dealing with reality, and it's not that much ability to make connections here, all right? However, the sun is in the 4th house this season, Libra, so we need to make sure we understand how all the cardinal houses are affecting the 1st house. Things in our personal life, whether we have some negative self-imposed habits in there, things going on with our 10th house aspirations and our relationship life, right? All of these things, we have to make sure we understand how they're affecting the 4th house. Work, family, home, life balance. All right. The sun will be highlighting what affects your emotional well-being, and you'll need to place restrictions and regulate attachments in general, Libra. It's very important in your relationship life around this time to be very conscious of how close you're getting to something. The sun is in the 4th house. So sometimes, Libra, the way you communicate, sometimes you communicate in a way where to neglect confirmation and neglect. Sometimes you feel like you being direct about something in your relationship is going to cause the confirmation, and you have to be very conscious of holding on to that mentality because that'll allow you to let something linger on in your partnership for too long. All right. So make sure if you're dealing with any attachments around this time, or you feel like you're dealing with a situation where you're connecting with somebody and you're feeling like, your connection, how you articulate things is bringing them closer to you into a way, into the sense that you don't even want to be that close. You have to be conscious about how you express and carry yourself in your behavior that's influencing that. All right. Is this a person? Excuse me, guys. Is this a person, place, or thing that makes you comfortable? Is this person, place, or thing that makes you comfortable taking away from your discipline? Remain attentive towards family issues and needs. All right. We talk about the 4th house, we talk about our comfort zone, and we talk about the 10th house having to get out of our comfort zone to work for something, right? So right now, you have to kind of gauge these two things, all right? Gauge these two spectrums, right? Is what are the things that I'm leaning on for comfort, people, places, and things, habits, actually taking me away for what I want to build into the 10th, what I'm building or trying to build in the 10th house, all right? This may naturally be a time of isolation for you. What 10th house, what 10th house aspirations do you have that are shunned upon or rejected amongst family or loved ones? Has that affected your decision to pursue your career goals? So once again, we're talking about that 4th and 10th house resistance. Have you been dealing with a situation where, and this is the thing, I forgot what sign we were talking about this. We were talking about the same thing with Aries, because Aries has the full moon in the 10th. And no, Aries has the full moon in the 4th house, the sun in the 10th. So I was just talking about this with Aries. But the thing with Aries, they way more individual than you, Libra. They way more individual than your ass. So we be needing people to confirm some shit for us. We be having to ask our best friend, our mom, my motherfucking girlfriend. We be having to ask they ass some shit to confirm some shit we need to do. Like, hey, babe, you think I should go and do that shit? Like, I think I'm pretty good. I'm like, yeah, babe, you should go ahead and do it. You good at that? All right, but that's what I was thinking. But Aries could do that to themselves. Libras, we be needing somebody else to do that shit. We needed somebody else to confirm something for our goddamn self. So Libras, y'all got to be careful right now, not allowing the judgment of others to affect 10th house aspirations right now. All right. Don't be too stubborn to accept advice and help. I hope Aries watching this too, because I should have said that to y'all ass, but Don't be too stubborn to accept advice or help, but at the same time, you got this time around this time, you're gonna have a little bit more conviction on making your personal, on making personal decisions around this time, Libra Sun, Libra rising. All right, especially for things relating to career. All right. Now, your ruler is transiting Scorpio. So as I was saying to Taurus, relationship transformations and intensity has been taking place. Libra's relationships have been transformed if it didn't have depth or substance to it. You know, Libras don't know how to be to themselves. So when they're basking in relationships that are surface level, they're only pleasing the flesh or some sense of pleasure and comfort, and there's no real sense of substance or depth to it. When Venus transits Scorpio, that shit gonna get transformed. Things may get exposed. You may learn something about your goddamn self around that time, Libra. All right. So I wrote down, I believe whoever has had the Libra's attention during this transit may have been helping them understand how to transform. And I put in parentheses, whether they've been encouraging it or the relationship itself has been an example, because it's enabling a negative cycle. So let's say, I feel like I can see my booger. I can see my booger. Yeah, I can't see my boogers. Sorry, y'all. Sorry for being nasty for the last 5 minutes or however long y'all was able to see my boogers. So sorry. But we family, right? We family, y'all. All right, we family. All right, I'm good now. But all right, I'm a Libra. I'm sorry, I'm superficial. I can't be having boogers all up in my shit. But when we looking at that last thing I wrote, you know, I believe, I'm going to say it one more time, I believe whoever has had the Libra's attention during this transit, Venus and Scorpio, may have been helping them understand how to transform. Whether they've been encouraging them to make a certain transformation in their life, you're dealing with somebody and they just verbally communicating, like, you need to change this, you need to change that. Or if the person you're dealing with and the relationship itself has been the example of why you need to transform something, because the relationship is playing out the enabling habit of something. You know, you may be dealing with a negative cycle in your life. This relationship is enabling it in some type of way, and that's the sign for you to make some transformations in your life, because you wouldn't even be in this relationship or have attracted or connected this person if you wasn't on a certain frequency vibration, right? Dealing with something with an attachment, bad habits, pleasures, whatever it may be, Libra. All right. So let's make sure we get on top of that during this season. Shout out to my Libras. Y'all are on the hot seat, though. All right. We are on the hot seat. Scorpio. Moon in the ninth, sun in the third. All right. Moon in the ninth, sun in the third. Downloads on what wisdom needs to be, what wisdom needs to be applied more in your life. All right. Might be a time where you're learning to separate what your peers view as reality and what you really care about exploring. Now, that one goes a little bit deeper than rap, because you got the moon in the ninth, sun in the third. So you're going to be paying attention to your surroundings a lot of the time. You're going to be paying attention to the mentalities of people around you, your immediate social circle around this time. But with the moon in the ninth house, this week is going to have a strong reflection amongst things that you want to apply yourself towards, whether it's new journeys, things dealing with things you just want to explore and experience in general, things you want to apply with your experience and skill set. But you're going to start to see the difference as far as how these aspirations may be a little bit different from the people that's around you. All right. And that's when you're going to have to, make sure you stay strong and honor the things you want to pursue, Scorpio. Have you held back pursuing certain journeys due to your surroundings and your social influence? Question to ask. All right. You'll find more clarity as the season progresses on that actual question. All right, on the answer to that question. Your third house is being regulated, so the full moon transiting the ninth helps to refine and restore principles and morals for spiritual and self-development. So once again, any bad habits in enabling people, places, and things in your third house, these things are being highlighted and they need to be regulated, right, in order for you to, develop certain morals and principles, and moving to your higher self, doing things in the sense of your higher self for the most part, regardless of what's been projected on you in your third house. So whoever doesn't align with your concepts of expansion and growth may have to be the parties you detach or fall back from. All right. It's a full moon. It's the sun in the third house with Capricorn there. So Scorpio usually has to do a lot of restricting and deal with reality amongst people that it ends up being surrounded by. All right. Mars, Scorpio ruled by Mars, and that eighth house energy dealing with desires. So sometimes Scorpio could attract a lot of people that's into certain desires, and that could bring temptations to Scorpio. So if Scorpio wants to explore something and move into a higher light, that's when that regulation energy of Capricorn in the third house has to start being activated a bit more. All right. Now, the ruler, Mars, ruler is making its way out of Sag. Hopefully there was a new sense of exploration that you embraced when it came to your personal goals. All right. Mars most likely manifested some new knowledge or guidance for its passions transiting Sagittarius. It's also likely that you have made impulsive decisions around this time, Scorpio. Hopefully they were towards experiencing new things in a positive space. And hopefully you learned your lessons if your impulsive decisions led to any forms of chaos or any form of reckless circumstances, right? It's just a bit impulsive because it's in Sagittarius that deals with experiencing and exploring, all right? And then Mars is already an impulsive energy in general, okay? However, once again, Mars is getting ready to move into that exaltation space, Scorpio. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to manifest. When it comes into the career space, this bandana is fucking killing my shit, y'all. Holy goodness gracious. My forehead was beat, and that shit was on a little too tight. All right, just make sure. All right. Long hair borrowing back on deck. All right, so yeah, so Mars is moving into its exaltation space, Scorpio, soon, and there's gonna be a lot of things when it comes to your passions, your knowledge, your awareness that will be highlighted and you may be able to have opportunities to gain recognition for these things, right? Gain some type of status, grow and expand your status in some type of way. All right, so that's very important. Now, Sagittarius, okay? Sagittarius, we got the moon in the 8th house. All right, we got the moon in the 8th house, sun in the 2nd, okay? Can be, and shout out to all my Sagittarius, I just came off y'all solar return. So I hope y'all all feeling good with the new sense of self-awareness, all right? You know how you feel after that solar return transit, after that sun in the first house transit, all right? You feel like there's a new breath, you got a new breath of fresh air, all right? You feel like you got a new life, all right? So it moves into you wanting to establish new values, all right? So I wrote, this can be somewhat of an emotionally unsettling time since the moon is navigating your deepest emotions, desires, and traumas, the 8th house. There may be some things to confront about attachments in your life, and the more you can embrace the newfound awareness, the smoother any transformation process that needs to take place can commence. All right, finances. All right, the money houses are lit up for you right now. Finances are important right now. Is an attachment or vice impacting your pockets? Okay, very important to ask yourself that, Sagittarius. How can your true motives potentially help build security and stability? Is there something that you haven't got a chance to really initiate yet? Is a true passion motive is something that's is burning within you. There's a potential that you pushing this out can help you build some form of stability and security. So you need to make sure whatever that is, you keep some attention on that energy. All right, Sagittarius. Now, you can make impulsive decisions when you feel like you're holding a lot of emotion. All right, we know Sagittarius, you don't like holding a lot of emotion. I tell y'all that all the time. They don't like heavy emotion. They don't like negative emotion. Okay, Jupiter don't play that. Ninth house energies don't play that. So you can make impulsive decisions when you feel like you're holding a lot of emotion. Refrain from feeling the need to act or express when you're feeling heavy. Observe the issue. Okay, I know that's a big ask around full moon time, but it could prevent some chaos, Sagittarius, and provide understanding. It's time to establish new values from the things you've learned about self during your season. 2nd house vibes. All right. Now your ruler is harmonizing with the sun, Uranus, and the moon. Intuition is extremely high, and you'll feel all attachments and burdens against personal goals and personal development in general. And Sagittarius, you don't like dealing with restrictions, and you definitely don't like attachment energy. You're the free sign, right? But when it comes into when it comes into any form of attachments or burdens around this time, there will be extremely felt. This is a time for you to take power over anything and everything that has power over you. I can see many of you are in a space of reinvention. So you want to use this full moon to let go of past influences and embrace new journeys, embrace whatever transition that you may be in around this time. It may definitely be in support of your newfound values or values that you're trying to establish. All right. So that's what we got going on, Saggies. Capricorn, moon in the 7th, sun in the 1st. Happy solar return to all my beloved big business caps out there. All right. Shout outs to y'all. Okay, y'all are the example of what it looks like to handle reality, to structure things, to be disciplined, to honor time. All right, guys. All right, I'm a cap moon, so when I watch my cap sons, I be like, yeah, I see y'all. I see y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing out there. I feel it. All right, literally. Okay, so Capricorns, moon in the 7th, sun in the 1st, all the things you personally know about being a builder is highlighted this season, all right? The things you know that you have in motion and the things you're still learning on how to sustain from a master builder point of view, okay? However, the moon in the 7th house will be highlighting any circumstances where you may be overextending yourself in a partnership, especially if you're building something with somebody else, all right? Well, every relationship you're building in general. Does your partnerships reflect your personal I have a little typo though, and what you're goal oriented about? Okay, so does your partnerships reflect your goal oriented manner, or do they reflect the traits that you don't want to possess? Moon in the 7th house, sun in the 1st. You will be realizing these things. You will be realizing how your social circle, you always realize this when you have a strong sun in the 1st, 7th house, sun moon connection. You're going to realize how your relationship may not be conducive or complementary, towards things that you're building in your 1st house. You got the sun in the 1st house, so you know exactly what you need to be restricting. You're going to continue to gain more clarity on what you need to be restricting, placing time into, and building. So everything in the 7th house is going to be feeling like an extreme sensitive burden. People dating Capricorn, people dating y'all right now may be agitated because y'all gonna have a small, small space, some small tolerance, for certain things in your relationship right now, because the awareness on what you're building in your 1st house, you're starting to realize how much more time you may need with things, or how much you really do need to honor time and invest your energy into what you're building in the 1st house. Probably reconstruct some things, do some construction work on things in the 1st house, break some things in order to have a foundation and space to build things back up. So you will be doing that, having that outlook in your relationship life in the 7th house. Okay, so we got that going on. Now, who's the enabler and who's encouraging you to follow your personal blueprint? The sun and the moon in the 7th house will make that clear. Your personal aspirations and development is under the scope all season long. There will be restrictions to be made in both houses. All right. The full moon will be highlighting what those things are. Now, Capricorn, your ruler is in Pisces, trining the moon. All right. Harmonizing with the sun and Jupiter. So Capricorn, you in a bag right now. You in a certain bag right now. And, but I forgot. Saturn is squaring Venus in those late degrees of Scorpio, about to enter Sagittarius. So with all that being said, your intuition is extremely high for sure, making all that positive contact with the moon and the sun. However, your intuition is extremely high as to what relationships in your life lack your enthusiasm and participation. So right now, Capricorn, you may think you in some shit to build, and you're going to start realizing the enthusiasm and energy you trying to keep up for this relationship, that shit's kind of being forced, or you're going to realize how natural it is. Okay? You may start to realize the purpose of what you're working towards, what you're building. Your view on what will bring expansion and progress to your projects is clear. Venus is also influencing you to be more disciplined and structured to improve your value system. All right, so it's pretty clear as to what goals you're trying to reach to, and why you're sacrificing time. I did say you will start to redefine the purpose of why you're working towards what you're building. But at the same time, with Venus squaring Saturn, it definitely may bring some potential friction or something that you need to regulate within your love matters or things that make you feel good. All right. We don't want to get undisciplined in these areas when we're trying to tighten up the first house in general. All right, Capricorns, happy birthday, happy solar return, and continue to be the example of how we need to take initiative, making decisions to govern our reality. All right, shout out to my Cappies. Aquarius. All right, we jump into the next Saturn sign. Aquarius, moon in the 6th house, sun in the 12th. Imagination juices will be running wild all cap season, and the ability to dive deep in your subconscious and get some shadow work in motion will be present. Okay. There will be spaces this season where you observe what insecurities or past circumstances hold you from investing into your dreams or aspirations, Aquarius. All right. And the full moon transit will activate any processes that help you to understand how to readjust your schedule and routine throughout cap season. Your wellness is key right now. Is your energy in a healthy space? If not, it'll be difficult to focus on some dreams. All right. So you got to make sure you're centered from a wellness perspective around this time, Aquarius. That's what the moon is really trying to help you check up on so you can continue to navigate your 12th house space. A change in the workplace may be on the horizon. There's a chance you're finding yourself aligning with the idea of a project you want to get back in motion. Take your time understanding how much capacity you have to entertain different duties. You may also have to regulate some associates and relationships in general to gain more clarity with your day-to-day regimen, Aquarius. So make sure you don't get too discouraged or overwhelmed with things dealing with your contacts and resources and what things you're participating in with them. Your ruler is in Pisces, trining the moon, harmonizing with the sun and Jupiter, right? But squaring Venus. So intuition is extremely high as to what relationships in your life lack your enthusiasm and participation. You will realize what natural relationships keep you naturally enthused. Is that a word? Yeah, enthused. All right. You may start to redefine the purpose of why you're working towards what you're building. Okay. And your view on what will bring expansion and progress to your projects is clear, but Venus is also influencing you to be more disciplined and structured to improve your value system. So once again, your goals on why you're investing time and trying to structure and put things together as the organizer you are, knowing how to make people work together, knowing what environments you thrive in with others. All these things are going to be clear, but you just got to make sure with Venus in the way that you keep some attention on your values, because these are going to directly correlate to the things that you're building around this time. All right. And last but never least, my beloved Pisces. All right. I'm starting to feel like I got a little bit of an upset stomach up here, y'all. It was Christmas Day. Motherfuckers bringing plates all over the place. Eating all type of shit, drinking a little bit. Stomach starting to feel a little funny, guys. All right, but we right here. We have Pisces. We about to wrap it up. All right. I feel like I done did a live stream being up in here because the spirit of the church is I still feel the spirit of the church. All right. But Pisces, all right. Moon in the 5th, sun in the 11th. All right. Pisces, listen to me now. Listen to me. All right. I'm speaking to the mic, even though it ain't really on. All right. This is a time where your creative abilities will be called on by the 11th house, Pisces. All right. I see a bunch of opportunities aligning for Pisces being able to demonstrate their creativity or knowledge into a space where mutual energies exist. We know the 11th house is dealing with communities, the outside world. You got the sun, the moon in the 5th. So there's going to be a lot of downloads this week of what could be connected to the 11th house, especially Pisces sunrises. If you feel like you just seeing things pop up on your phone or around you as to how you can get your art, your music, your this and a third, your platform, your brand, your business, connected to others, this and a third, or anything that you learn about advertising, marketing. Like, these are all things that you have to pay attention to, and they're coming into your life for a reason, because these are things that are most likely going to help you to push something or take something from the 5th house into the 11th house. Whatever ignites the inner child of Pisces natives right now must be highlighted whatever ignites the inner child of the Pisces native must be highlighted around this time. AKA, if you get back in touch with some Pisces, you get back in touch with something that you may have fell off from connecting to from a creative point of view. This is something that, this is a time where you could gain that spark back and understand how significant it is to have this in your fifth house bag, so you always keep that inner child lit, so you don't lose too much of a sense of yourself. You Pisces, you are definitely one of the signs that needs to stay connected to their creativity once you find certain creative pockets. Like you're one of the signs that need that. All right. So let's just keep that in mind. You are a Neptune being. What is life if I ain't dealing with my creativity? All right. So we got that going on. Whatever ignites the inner child, the Pisces native must be highlighted around this time. This can be a reminder to stay connected to what keeps your creative muscles flexed, as I pretty much just said. As you navigate fifth house influences around this time, it's key to take notice to anybody in the 11th house that notices something about you or wants to connect with you in some type of shape or form, Pisces. This is a time where somebody you don't know from a hole in the wall will find all the intrigue in the world and want to sponsor some shit for your ass, want to take something from your fifth house and bringing it and show it to other people in the 11th house, give you more of a platform, this, that, third. Don't shy away from none of these opportunities, Pisces, with your creative self. Let me put some of them healing hands on you, just in case you need a little extra prayer. Put some of that, I got any holy water? Some of that holy water on you. All right, stop playing, Pisces. You don't even need no holy water. Your ass holy already, and you water, and you a water sign. You literally is the holy water sign. All right, so shit. Don't shy away from getting your energies out into that 11th house, especially if you're already a part of a community, a group in some type of shape or form. Pisces, any opportunity to step up to the plate and demonstrate what you're working with a little bit more, right? You want to jump into those bags, all right? The more Pisces is in the 11th house, the more you may realize how many people share the interests you may have. This is an extremely social time, so you use discernment as to what advice is extended your way. All right, Pisces? The 11th house is a lot of money in the 11th house, right? A lot of opportunity there. All right, and your ruler Jupiter is harmonizing with the sun, Uranus, and the moon. Intuition is extremely high. You'll feel all attachments or burdens against personal goals or personal development in general, all right? Because you know Jupiter trying to expand. So when Jupiter feels something that's blocking it from expanding, who's going to feel that? Pisces, Sagittarius, okay? This is a time for you to take power over anything and everything that has power over you. And once again, just like I told my Sagittarius, which our ruler, being in, influenced with Uranus and whatnot, I can see a lot of you guys are in a space of reinvention. So you want to use the full moon to let go from past influences and embrace everything new, especially in that 11th house space. All right, Pisces, so shout outs to everybody that just tuned in, man. Happy full moon to everybody again. God damn, I thought this was going to be a shorter video. I can't do short videos for nothing anymore. This is I'm about to change my name to the long-winded Libra. All right, I think every Libra, every air sign be long-winded anyways, at least air stellium. But anyways, I need to go ahead and get some rest and fix my static shock afro before I go to bed, y'all, and get some rest and get ready for this next productive day. Happy full moon, everybody. I missed y'all. I missed my church. Let me sending blessings to everybody. Sending a glory to everybody in the chat. Another glory to all my Capricorns in the building. Happy solar return to all my Capricorns. If you made it to this point of the video, let me see some goats. It's Capricorn season. Let me see some goats in the comments. That's going to let me know y'all ready to build. That's going to let me know y'all ready to walk up the mountains this season, all right? And put a little bit more healing hands on y'all. All right, family, y'all already know what it is. Let's get ready to close out 2023 strong and enter 2024 even stronger. I love y'all, family. Until next time.